Hey YouTube, this is Southern Prepper 1 coming back at you again. Today I'm going to talk about retreat defense. Well, just one aspect of retreat defense. I'm going to talk about perimeter fencing and fencing in general. Anytime you have a retreat, you want to do everything you can to increase your defenses. And this would be called a combat multiplier. Combat multipliers are anything you do. If you have good camo, positions, night vision, an organized defense force, is called a combat multiplier. Fencing, as I'm going to show you today, is a combat multiplier. Right now, if you own a piece of property, think about fencing it in right now. If you live in the city, maybe a nice fence in the front yard, wrought iron, something nice looking. In the backyard, maybe if you can chain link fence. If you live out in the country like I do, go with a 4-foot fence, field fence, a couple strands of barbed wire. It's very common out here. No one will even think twice about it. It costs a lot of money and it takes a lot of time to put fencing up. So I recommend do some of your fencing now while you have Lowe's or Home Depot where you can go down there and buy what you need. Because in a WROL situation, you're not going to have the resources that we have now. So take advantage of it. Stockpile some extra fence posts, stockpile some extra barbed wire. You can always take that extra barbed wire you have and add on to your fencing, make it more secure. What I'm going to go over right now is the military way of securing a perimeter. Then we'll modify that and change it for us retreaters. If you can see here, this center section right here is your position. This is your retreat. It could include barns, houses, whatever it is. This is your retreat. We have, starting from the out to in, this would be a fence. If you're on a farm, you already have your perimeter fence to keep your cows in. But this is what's called supplementary wire. This is wire to confuse the enemy where your real perimeter is, your inner perimeter, the one that you really are trying to protect. The next is what you're called your protective wire. Your protective wire is approximately 40 to 100 meters from your position. The reason that is, you don't want someone throwing grenades if you were in the military, or in a raw situation, maybe a Molotov cocktail. You don't want to be able to throw anything into your perimeter to start a fire, improvise explosives, to do damage to you. So you want that 40 to 100 meters. Now, you might not have 40 to 100 meters to play with. You're going to have to just do what you got. If you have, you're in this suburban area and you don't have that to play with, just figure out what you can do to keep them far enough away. The next wire is what's called tactical wire. This is the most confusing wire. It was very confusing for me until the military straightened me out. This is wire that comes out from your position. Could be a barbed wire fence, field fence, chain link fence, any type of fencing, any type of wire. What it is your position is located right here. That way you can fire down that fencing. By being able to fire down the fencing at night, when you hear noise on that fencing, you know exactly what to do, because you're already going to have 2 stakes in the ground. You're going to take your weapon and fire it down the fence. Your probability of hitting the bad guy is greatly increased if you have this. If you didn't have that and you heard the fence being cut, you'd have to fire at a huge area just to get into their general vicinity. So this is called tactical wire. Very useful. Usually in the military you would place a machine gun here. So I would recommend putting something like an AK with a 75 round drum with a lot of firepower, so you can put a lot of rounds down your tactical wire. These would be fighting positions in all, and you would overlap them, but your tactical wire would consist of that. Also, there's another type of wire that can be used in the military and also for us preppers. It's called tanglefoot. You can see here, this is just some ribbon, so just pretend this is barbed wire. What you want to do is, tanglefoot is good if you have an open field and you want to put something in there to slow somebody down. In a raw situation, or a situation where things are bad, you probably won't be cutting what we cut now. You probably won't be manicuring your lawn or areas that you cut. So the grass is going to grow and you want them to grow. This is areas where you're going to put tanglefoot. This tanglefoot could be spread out. Usually you can put these stakes about 2 to 10 feet. And you want to put your wire anywhere from like 8 to 30 inches up. Now, if you want this just to be in the grass area, you're going to use shorter stakes. So the grass grows up, people don't even know it's there. So if your position's over there and you have people watching your position, they might only see one fence. They might not see this. So when they come up, they're going to hit this fence, and what's going to happen? This fence is going to keep them in your engagement area or your kill zone. That is what you're trying to do. Any fencing you put up has that purpose, to keep the enemy in the engagement area so you can shoot them. All fences can be breached, so any fence you put up has to be watched. It has to be covered by fire. If you can't watch it and you can't cover it by fire, just in your mind think there's no fence there. Do not get a false sense of security that you have a fence, you're fine. No, they're going to cut it, they're going to breach your fence, and you won't even know it. So what you want to do, put your stakes in, and take your barbed wire and go all over this. Make it very confusing, make it very hard. As you can see, you might be able to step through the first one, but then you have all these. At this point, that retreater is shooting. He's putting so many rounds down here, this guy's not going to want to go forward. He's probably going to want to go back, but hopefully he won't even get to go back. Hopefully you'll get him. If you want to do this in the shrubs, a bunch of bushes and shrubs, you can do it there. It will camouflage it. You might want to use higher stakes, which is fine. You can use the shrubs themselves to attach your barbed wire to. If you don't have that many stakes, use the shrubs. Use a few stakes. Let's say we don't have any barbed wire. We can scrounge up some stakes. We're in the suburban area. Everybody has weed eater cord. Go collect weed eater cord. Put stakes in. Weed eater cord all over here. Let the grass grow up. If somebody tries to run through this area, it's going to slow them down. Yeah, they're going to be able to take their knife out and cut each piece so they can get through quickly. But your neighborhood watch up there is watching. They can deal with the problem. It slows them down. It keeps them in the kill zone. We're going to go over here. We're going to look at the concertina wire. You can buy concertina wire from the DRMO. It's hard to get. I wish I'd bought more when I had the opportunity, but I went ahead and pulled out some pieces, brought them up here to show you guys. Concertina wire is nasty stuff. It's not as good as what they call razor wire, but razor wire is very expensive, and it's a smaller roll. So this is three strands or 3 bundles of concertina wire. You put 2 on the ground and put the other one on top. If you were doing this for real, you'd be putting many pickets or stakes in here to hold this and secure this to the ground and to secure it to yourself. You can take small pieces of wire, electrical wire, wrap these together so it's very hard to get over. Down there is just a single piece of concertina wire. You can get over a single piece of concertina wire. What you want to do is get a rug from the house, get a big piece of plywood, throw it down, step over. If you have to get over quickly and you don't have any of those items, go ahead and one member of your team takes his rifle, falls forward onto the concertina wire, pushes it down. Everybody else uses him as a bridge, steps on his back and gets over and can deal with the problem. That's not the best way of doing it, but it's a fast way to do it if you're caught in the open and you can't get it cut or get it moved. I'm going to show you some barbed wire here. Barbed wire is a must for the retreatist. I recommend buying as much as you can afford. 5, 6, 7, 10. Put back whatever you can. You're going to need this stuff. You're going to be able to improvise and make better positions, make better defenses. So I recommend it heartily. Make sure you get yourself a good pair of gloves. You're going to need them. Working with concertina wire, working with this, you're going to need it. This is Southern Patriot 1 signing out.